Hi, and welcome to Cryptosis. My name's Rusty G, and this week, again with me, my co-host Shane Carter and Cory McGuffin. Shane, how are you doing this week?
Not too bad, Rusty. How about you?
Doing pretty good, other than BitConnect and USI, but that's for another show and another topic. Cory, how about you?
Pretty much the same. Can't complain, but I think it's going to be a good week.
It's got to be. You went out and got your ESPN headset, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, I went ahead and got my other one on because apparently my sound was bad last time, and I wanted to make sure it was a lot better for this one.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So this week, our topic is going to be ICOs, and we're going to get into the details of ICOs, what they are, what the letters stand for, what they have to do with cryptocurrency, and why you want to be in on them. Maybe not all of them, just a couple of them. Maybe we've got some ideas. But first, real quick, what's one thing that we did this week? I'll start off real quick. I found out I lost a lot of money with USI Tech and BitConnect. But again, another show, another time. Cory, what'd you do this week?
I sold my useless Ether tokens for a profit. They hit an all-time high today. So there was that. And outside of crypto stuff, you know, I'm going to a onesie party this weekend apparently, and a brewery fest. So that's going to be fun.
Awesome. Shane, how about you?
I got a new camera and a microphone that's built into it, so I got fancy over the week.
Awesome. And I thank you for taking my recommendation. You look good in HD, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's take a quick look. Shane, do you have screen share? Does anybody have screen share? You've got the run sheet says market review, so I'm assuming we're going to hit CoinCap market. Is that what we're going to do next?
If you'd like to.
All right. Who's got the screen share up that can do that?
1 second.
Oh, look at that. None of us were prepared for that, were we? Even though we got a run sheet.
No, you snuck that one in on me.
Well, you're the one who wrote the run sheet. I'm following what your run sheet says.
All right, so here's our market cap for the week. We'll actually start with the market cap. We are still down significantly compared to what we were back in late December. We zoom in a little bit. We see that there's been some bouncing. It's fell off a little more, and it's starting to slowly make an uptrend. This is kind of what I was thinking was going to happen here. Hopefully, the market trend the market cap will continue to move sideways at a decent rate. Not no big jumps or anything, but just a decent rate. Just get us moving.
Absolutely.
Look at coins for the week. Everything is still kind of holding. I know yesterday was kind of a bloodbath for everything, but we're recovering. Things are moving up. Portfolios are starting to look a little bit better. So if you're still holding, good job.
Absolutely. I think I've been hodling my Bitcoin since November when I first jumped in, and it's kind of hairy right now. And I've got some other friends and family in it, so it's kind of, just hold on, just hold on.
There's a lot of factors that are going on in this, and just do some research on some news, and you'll see that there's a lot of FUD going on. People are still trying to figure out if it's a bubble or if it's a correction or what's going on. But if we look at the chart overall, there's a lot of indicators that show that it's just a correction, and we're still doing really good on the 200 EMA.
Awesome. So let's get into it this week. Again, the topic of the show this week is ICOs. And I'm going to let Shane or Cory, whichever one wants to jump in on this one. I know what it is. I know what the letters stand for, but maybe you could tell our audience, for the first-time viewers, maybe they have no clue what an ICO is, and give us an idea.
So ICO is an initial coin offering. It's kind of like an IPO with a stock. So basically what you're doing is you're giving them money up front because you believe in their project, and they are giving you this coin back as like kind of like a share of their stock, and it's worth so much money, and the price of that could go up or down just like a stock could.
Absolutely. Shane, any words?
Yeah, that's basically Cory's got it. It's you're giving them some funds up front to let them get started on a certain project, and after they finish the heavy part of the project, they'll start releasing these coins and give you a a return on your investment by allowing you to sell those coins for a higher price than you paid for them.
Awesome. So we're looking at a lot like what he said, an IPO versus an ICO. IPO in the investment world for stocks. And for those of you who have ever done any of that, for initial public offerings for companies that go public, it's the same thing here is what it sounds like. It's pretty easy to get into. We've all got different ideas for different companies. Shane's got a couple of them listed. One most recently that I just ran into but didn't get a chance. My ether mining that goes on behind me, I missed the timeline because I was going to use the mining efforts to buy into Envion, which was one that was most recent. But I missed out. I missed the time slot, so I wasn't able to jump in on it. But I'd like to see where Envion goes. What about you guys? What do you think?
I'm pretty looking forward to it myself. I ended up getting a few of those coins. I don't think I was supposed to, because it ended up saying that I was supposed to be an accredited investor in order to get those. But I think that's just maybe to activate them, because I still got the coins, but they're not activated, so I wouldn't be able to get the dividends from it. Now I'm curious to see what's going to happen with those once it hit BTC, because Envion's supposed to be listed on there pretty soon, and I'm wondering if I'll be able to offload those coins onto that market, and maybe somebody else can register those.
Absolutely. Shane?
Envion actually was an awesome idea in my opinion. If you know me personally, you'll know that renewable energy kind of has a soft spot in my heart. That's kind of what I focused my engineering degree around. So Envion was an idea that you could create these mobile mining units that you could take to solar farms or wind farms or hook it up to a power grid and mine off-site. So you don't have to have a dedicated building with lots of infrastructure and overhead that takes up space and more resources than are required. But basically, the idea was that they had these shipping containers that they would put multiple mining units in, take it out into a field, set it down beside a solar farm, and let it go. And the reason why this is huge is because a lot of people are discussing right now how much of a strain that mining is on a electric grid. So this would allow you the capability to take it off grid. If you've got a solar farm in your East 30 with 6,000 panels back there, you could feasibly get something like this and have more return on your investment. So it was awesome up front. I wanted to get into it, but after reading the white paper, I realized that I wasn't able to because I'm inside the USA. We'll talk about that a little more in upcoming, but we all kind of missed the boat on this, but hopefully we'll be able to get into it in the future and get a little return out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really wish I could have myself, but there's so many different ICOs that happen out there that it's really insane. And I think we were talking about this earlier as far as our chat was going was, could some of these ICOs, as many as growing, could it be the next bubble, as it were, like the .com bubble? I think, Cory, you brought that up in our chat earlier, something along those lines.
Yeah, there's so many coming out left and right, and it's hard to keep track of them all. Even I mean, there's websites that you can go to and they alert you for them. And if you try to get in on every ICO, you'd just be broke, because most of them have like a minimum requirement of how much money you have to put in there. Like they'll say you must put in 0.5 Ethereum or at least one Litecoin or something like that. And it's just crazy, like how many there are, and most of them are ERC20 tokens, so they end up going on your Ethereum address. I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And then some of them you'll have to register. Like with EOS is doing an ICO currently, and it's been a year-long one where they're slowly releasing those through time. And whenever the EOS network comes out, you'll have to register the ERC20 tokens that you have, so they will be able to be used on the EOS network. So I mean, there's just different kinds of coins out there and different ways that they can be used too.
Yeah, absolutely. Shane, you've got a couple of them listed here on the run sheet. Looks like Ucoin, Thorn, Outing, MediBlock. Did you want to hit some of those up?
Yeah, sure. One of the interesting things about the ICOs, before I forget. It's so you mentioned the .com bubble and stuff, and we with blockchain we're trying to get people into the space. We're trying to grow a revolution, so to speak, and ICOs are a way for us to really help push that along. So the like no one's going to move to a blockchain because there's no point right now. When we start getting bigger projects that come along that actually do things that you can use on a daily basis, then we're going to start having people actually adopt blockchain and move into this space with us. So that's what, we look at the Bitcoin graph. There's kind of the early adopters, and now we're into the mainstream adopters and institution adopters and stuff. So that's kind of the point behind some of these projects. But yeah, to start, we can go over Outing. Outing is an app an ICO that's actually live right now. I'm personally not invested in it because I'm just not ready to yet, because there's a lot of, I've been watching it over the couple of days, and the tokens haven't been selling very fast, which kind of worries me. Outing is basically an app that allows users to upload current events that's going on in a city around them. So like with Ingress, for example, we would walk around and upload pictures of different places, interesting places, and it would become portals over time. This is basically the same thing with Outing, except you're not really creating portals. You're just showing where all these cool and interesting things that you can't just Google on the fly and find out. So Outing is one of those that I'm kind of watching right now. Another one that I didn't get into was MediBlock, and this kind of hits home for me as well, seeing as how my mother is currently in the hospital. Like it's interesting if you could take patient healthcare and put it on a blockchain and make everyone use the same platform. You could streamline having access to all the patient information. You don't have to worry about calling another doctor and getting information from them and charts and files and stuff, because it's all right there in one place. Every doctor has the exact same access to it. So they actually had an ICO. This one's already over, and you can see. Well, you can't see it here, but some of their results, they had like a 15x for their Bitcoin investment. Actually, I can turn this on. Let's do this. So this was their basic website here. So you can see 15x on the BTC, almost 7x on the Ethereum, and almost 10x on the USD. So what this is saying is that whatever you invested, you're getting 15. If you invested 1 BTC, you're getting 15 BTC in return.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this was a this was a pretty big deal. Obviously, Envion, it's still running. Outing, I guess I didn't show this, so you can see here.
Did we lose him?
Uh-oh.
I
was wondering what was going on. Like he was getting choppy there for a while.
Yeah, I think he may have to jump back on the call, but the idea, I really do love the idea of MediBlock there. That sounds like an amazing idea, because how hard is it to carry your information from one doctor to another, whether it's a dentist, a doctor, a pediatrician, neurosurgeon, as far down the line as it goes. Shane, you back?
Yeah, sorry about that. So did you guys get everything I was saying there?
We heard the last thing that you went from the MediBlock back over to Outing to show us the screenshots for Envion and Outing, and you kind of froze up there.
Okay. All right. So another ICO I'm kind of looking at right now. I'm in is Thorncoin. I'm actually playing around with this. Thorncoin is another lending platform, kind of like BitConnect was, but they're claiming to have more management, more upfront information about what they're doing and how it works. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. I personally have bought into it because I think that I bought the coins at such a cheap price that if they come out at $1, I've at least 2x my money. If they come out at $2, I bought my coins at 70 cents a piece. So, hopefully I can make a 5x return on them and just make a profit on it. I don't want to lend, but there are some other interesting aspects that came out of BitConnect, which was how the coin ended up inflating in value. And if you would have, rather than making loans, if you would have just bought the coin, held it, and sold it at a later date, you would have made more money than you could have made with the lending program. So I'm just playing around with that. I'm not going to be giving out references or anything like that unless you're someone that personally knows me, but this is just for me. So
Absolutely, because I'm still hurt about BitConnect and US High Tech, but again, another time, another show. Cory, we have listed here in the notes here, FOMOing on ICOs. What kind of ICOs do you think are you're FOMOing on?
Well, one of my buddies, he got into to co-vesting, and he put a decent chunk of money into it, and he said that I think he said it was like around $5,000, and it's already worth like 20 grand. And it's great that this is going on for him, and there's a lot of it going on right now because you can just put money in there and then you just make a ton of money, and it's just a money making machine. But this is going to cause a bubble, because if you go back and you remember, like the tech stocks, like I don't know if everybody remembers this, but like all the tech stocks back in like the 90s, everybody was just putting money in anything that mentioned the internet, and your stock would just explode, and you'd make all this money, and then eventually it all crashed. And I think this is probably going to happen eventually with cryptocurrency. It can't just keep going up. I mean, it will to a certain extent, but I mean, it's got to stop somewhere. It's just like the stock market right now. The stocks just keep going up, reaching all-time highs every single day. Like there has to be some sort of correction come on, and it has to stop somewhere.
Not only in ICOs, but also whenever particular exchanges, particular wallets start offering coins inside their wallet or on their trading platform or on their whatever. Because I remember a month or so back when Bitcoin Cash, or was it Bitcoin Gold, one of those two that popped up on the Coinbase wallet that's there now, it went up in cost. And then I mentioned in our chat with our group the other day, talking about how there's 11 new coins available through the Exodus wallet. Now, Shane, I think said this earlier in our chat group, but I looked it up. Yeah, it didn't change anything for the Exodus wallet as far as prices and having the availability. I thought that was kind of interesting. But, when Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin Gold came on Coinbase, it kind of shot the price up a little bit. So it's interesting to see when people like us or people like bigger than us will say other YouTube, I'm not going to insert any names here just because that's still kind of ill about it. But anyway, other YouTube people that might talk about a coin, and then all of a sudden that price goes up and up and up, and to a point at some point, and then has to come back down. So it's interesting to see how people would take a look at some of this stuff. Don't forget, guys, over here on the side, if you are watching us live, you can chat with us. So if you got any questions, I don't see anything in there right now. We've had a few chatters with us before, but right here on the side, if you want to chat with us, you can always ask questions live. Shane, you got anything?
Well, we can go on to some of the spotting some ICOs if you want to.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I'm going to go back and share my screen again. Oh, let's do this first. So when you're looking through some of these ICOs and you want to know what ICOs are good, what should I get involved in? And as Cory mentioned, there are several ICOs to choose from. There's so many of them that you don't have time to research all of them. You don't have enough time to invest all of your money into all of these things because there's so many. But there are a couple of guidelines that you can go through whenever you're looking at an ICO. The first one is just looking at the website. So if you look at the website, if this one here is Envion. This one I think was really good. This is why I missed out on I feel like I missed out on. Like, first of all, the website's amazing. They've got all these different links and stuff that actually work. Like all these different links. They're showing who they're partnering with. They're showing all this information about what they do. Here's the video for it. This is a very professional website. You've got the slider here, so if you invest X amount of dollars, you can see your returns. Everything works. So it's a legitimate website. You can select these links here, and they'll actually take you to websites that that do things, that show and show things. Second of all, you want to find something that has a transparent team. So if you click on team here, this link works. You can go through and you can actually see their timeline, and you can see information about the people, and you can start doing research on. This is one of the big issues that people have with BitConnect. They didn't have a team, so to speak. They had names that were on a business contract, but they weren't real names, or they weren't people that were actually in charge of BitConnect. So this page didn't exist for BitConnect, and that's kind of a big deal, because people want to know, or want to be able to see who's in charge of the project. So if something goes wrong, they know who to blame. With BitConnect, nobody has that who to blame right now. All right. Third of all, excuse me, is their white paper. Every ICO should have a white paper. When it finishes loading.
A real one, not just a marketing sheet.
Right. And when this finishes loading out. Thank you, Cory.
Yeah, he makes a really good point, because just because you can make a really good PDF form, or because you can make a really good Word document, doesn't make it, it can just be plain text for all I care, as long as you can explain what it is.
Right. So with Invion, for example, they have their their white paper is very, very in depth. They go through graphs and everything. They break down exactly what's going on, what they're doing, and how they're doing it. And if you go to, like, with these mining units, they actually go over everything that they're doing, like how all of it works. And if you sit down and read through some of this stuff, like, they're very transparent about how they're doing it and what's going to come. So if you can sit down and read the white paper and it has plenty of sustenance, you're probably on the right track. And my final little piece is well, there's two other things. Market cap, you want to know, how their tokens are going to be dispersed and how they're going to be used. So if I can find it in the white pages here.
In the white pages, welcome to 1998.
They have a breakdown of how all their coins will be dispersed.
You're talking about like their market cap and how many they're going to have and how long it's going to be dispersed and all that?
Right. So if it would be good to understand, like, how many coins there are going to be, what you can do with the coins, if you can stake them, if you can lend them, or whatever. Lending is at the bottom, but if you can stake them, or how you can increase your coins, if you have to pay more money, or you can buy them on exchange when they're coming onto an exchange. And finally, looking at some of these projects, it'd be good to invest in things that you believe in. Now, Invion is such a good example for me, because it's something I fundamentally believe in. Like, I know that everyone says, oh, solar's bad and it's not as energy efficient as it could be yet, but in the future, with the way the technology is changing, at some point we will be able to get to where solar is one of the most efficient ways of producing energy. So this hits near and dear to me, because that's what I'm into. That's what I enjoy. So if you can find a project that you can relate to personally, it might be a good way to invest your money.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that Cory showed me this afternoon when I was looking into another blockchain, particularly cryptocurrency storage, was I was trying to figure out where to put it and all this stuff. And so he was telling me about MetaMask. And so I started looking into MetaMask. It's another wallet, it's another thing. But on the side of MetaMask, it tells you can basically create your own coin and do your own setup on the Ethereum network and do your own E20 coin or EC20 coin or whatever it was. And I was like, so basically, if I really wanted to and take the technical know-how, I could actually set up my own coin and start my own ICO if I wanted to. Is that correct?
Yeah, you can. There's websites that you can go to and just start a coin. Like it does all the technical work for you. You put in how many coins you want, and as your own coin, you can make them where they can be on the Ethereum network. I don't remember the actual website. I looked it up and it was kind of interesting. So I'll have to look back into that at some point. But the one I was telling you about was MetaMask.
Oh,
Just so you know, it's got a little fox on there, but it's a great add-on to have if you're into cryptocurrency and you want to get into ICOs. I highly recommend it because you can download it and it'll have your own Ethereum address on there, and you can buy coins straight from Coinbase. It'll link to your Coinbase, and it'll go on there, and then you'll be able to load up your tokens that you bought straight from there.
And that was one really cool thing. And it took me a little while to understand until you showed me the myethereum.com or myethereumwallet.com. And I wish we kind of would have talked about it last week on the apps for cryptocurrency. But apparently you can load in other things that are based upon the Ethereum coin and the Ethereum network behind your Ethereum address, but not have Ethereum coin. Is that how that worked?
That's right. So, like, I was gonna pull up the MetaMask here for you. You can see how it's got your Ethereum on here, and you can see how it shows my Envion tokens, and you can add in more tokens here. You'll need like the token address and all this stuff if you want to manually add it in. And most of the sites, if you're getting into an ICO, it'll show you on how to do that. And as far as my Ethernet or my Ether wallet, let's see. Lark going up there. Highly suggest Crypto Lark is another person to check out, as well as subscribing to us. He's very knowledgeable. But you can go on here, and it tells you here to install MetaMask, because it's a great one to have. But you can go on here and you just put in like your wallet addresses, and you can be able to view all the different coins on here. Like, you could just put your receive address in here, and you'll be able to pull it up.
Yeah, it was kind of neat to see because it looked like I was able to pull up not only my Ethereum coin, but also if I were to, because storage is another app that's out there. Again, I wish we would have talked about last week. Maybe we can do another episode on more apps as the apps grow. But storage was one where I was like, where am I going to put this? There's nowhere to put it. And you were trying to explain to me. So interesting to say the least. How long ago did they have an ICO, or is that just a product that's just built on the Ethereum network and the Ethereum coin?
I'm pretty sure they had an ICO, but I'm not really that sure. Because I just got into viewing storage like around like 2000. Let's see. It was this year. I think it was around June. I read about it. I saw it on one of the Beer Money chats, and it seemed like it was a pretty cool idea. And I tried it out. I didn't really have much luck. I don't think I set it up right or something, because I didn't get all the I didn't get that many coins from it. Of course, maybe I might have just been using too much of my, I don't know. It's hard to say. But I finally got my Ether wallet pulled up. I pulled up, and you can see all the different tokens that you have on there. And I did get some storage, because you can go down here. Where's storage?
Yeah, this is where I got lost today.
So you click that, and it'll load it up, and boom, it shows that I have 5.57 on there. And you can go in here and you can send tokens, but you'll have to have, you'll need your private key and all that stuff to be able to send from it, or a Ledger wallet, which I'm getting me a Ledger wallet thanks to one of my buds. He got me one for Christmas. It's coming out in March.
Lucky.
Awesome. Yeah, so just for those of you, this is what storage is. It's basically distributed cloud storage, where you're storing everything in the cloud via your own hardware. You're sharing your own hardware that you might have at the house, whether it's external drives, whether it's internal drives, and you can purchase your own at 0.015 per gigabyte per month, or 0.05, and I'm assuming this is US dollar based upon what I'm looking at here. I just did the rent at the top, rent your drive, and it's not on this machine, so I can't show it off. But basically, you can rent out your drive for storage purposes so that other people can store their stuff online. And because my machine already stays online anyway all week long for mining, 24/7, I just figured why not. And I mean, it's pretty neat idea. I like the idea of what it's doing. So we'll see how far I make with it. I mean, it says, you can save money versus Amazon's services or Microsoft services. Interesting to say the least, but we'll see how it goes. Shane, you had financial aspects up next in the run sheet. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
This was ways of getting involved, basically. So as much as I don't want to talk about it, BitConnect X came out, and there's a lot of people who were trying to get rid of their BitConnect X coins. And what everyone didn't realize was that BitConnect X was only for people outside of the U.S., just like Envion was. So the problem with Envion was that they were going to require KYC or know your client, whereas BitConnect X is a little more lenient on that. So there are some ways around accessing those ICOs, and one of the ways is creating a VPN and showing that you're in a different location and having the geolocation not block you from doing it like BitConnect did. So I personally haven't done that. I have another way around it right now, thanks to a brother who's out of town. So my brother is actually in a couple of ICOs for me. So it's basically just understand before you get involved if you can invest, where you can invest from, and how much you can invest. Make sure you know where your money is going to go and how it's going to get there. That's basically what I was saying with that.
Yeah, with VPNs, it's really not all that hard. There's hundreds of them out there. I prefer paid ones. You can get free ones, but free ones typically limit you by how much bandwidth and all that stuff. And yeah, all that stuff. It's ridiculous. So I just much rather pay. I think I use NordVPN. That's NORD VPN, and I think it was like $70 for 3 years. They had a sale back on Black Friday, I think it was, and I purchased 3 years worth, and I can put it anywhere: United States, Norway, China, whatever. So it's interesting to say the least, because I mean, who doesn't want to look like they're in China or Europe or somewhere else so that they can get in on these ICOs?
If you were spoofing for Ingress, it's great.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing that.
Me
I
either.
love
Antarctica.
I love how your run sheet says how to access them. Technically not legal. Using a VPN. Why is it not legal? I mean, if I'm telling you I'm from this and I can provide you with all the information and an address and a wallet, why does it matter?
Well, I mean, so
there's some other aspects that go into it as well. Like some of them require you to be an accredited investor, which means you got to have 25 grand in capital in order to get in on these things too. So it's not just the geographical location of where these things are at as well.
Well, also governments are cracking down on who's doing what. So these ICOs are technically unregulated, whereas IPOs are regulated. So the government's also trying to step in here and get their hand in the pot, or try to help us in some ways. A lot of people are pissed off about BitConnect, so they want someone to blame. They want government to step in, but it's not regulated by the government, because it's not. We're not there yet. Thankfully.
So speaking of government regulation, I want to link back to a story I gave you guys. I think it was earlier today, maybe earlier this week. So the Chinese government I think is one of the reasons why some of the price has gone down, because China has now blocked or has just said no to the Chinese people as far as cryptocurrency is concerned, which is where one of the largest groups and communities of cryptocurrency was, and probably still is. I think they're trying to do their own Chinese bank cryptocurrency, their own bank coin, which will be interesting. I wonder if it'll be anything like what Ripple is and what Ripple is trying to be.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't really have a lot to say about it, because I didn't really look into that story all that much. But yeah, there's governments always trying to ban stuff. Like, if people are getting around what the government has set up and it's going well for the community, the government's going to want to be like, hey, We want part of this. We want some of that money, or we want to regulate it somehow because we don't want people making too much money off of things and stuff. I don't
No, the government wants you to make money. They just want to make their money at the same time.
know. Yeah, that's true.
As Shane and pretty much anybody who has been alive more than 20 years will always say, there are two things that you always know will happen in life: death and taxes.
Yep.
Word.
All right, so we've covered ICOs. Everybody knows what they are. It's basically jumping in when a brand new coin wants to get out there. So I think we've got that covered. We kind of told you how to get around some of them if you want to get into it and have a VPN.
At your own risk.
At your own risk, absolutely. And all of this, again, because none of us are financial advisors. We are just people enjoying doing this for fun. And if we make money along the way, yay. If we don't, boo. But, I'm here to make money and have fun at the same time. I'm trying to find that healthy balance in between the both. But we're looking at Shane's last little bit here. Potential market review. What do we think? Is it a bubble? Will it end? Why is the market going down? Thoughts?
Look at any chart out there. Look at any chart where you've got an exponential curve, you're going to have a fall. Anytime you have an exponential growth, you're going to have some drawback. Every time. When it was at 20K, people were taking profits. And that scared a lot of people when it started pulling back. And then China said that they wanted to regulate miners or get rid of miners. And then North Korea or South Korea decided they wanted to block crypto, or they don't want to block crypto, or maybe they do, maybe they want to regulate it. We don't know what we're doing. Whatever. There's a lot of news, a lot of FUD out there right now, and I personally believe that what's going on right now is good. We need this. We need to settle down a little bit so that we haven't earned all this market cap right now. We're not ready to move into that range yet. I mean, obviously, I want it to go back to 20 or 30K, but we're not ready yet. So give it time. Be patient. Let's slow down.
Wait for your taxes to come back. When your tax return goes back, just put it all in crypto.
He said take your taxes and put it in there.
It's funny, that link we looked at earlier from Japan about how they were trying to start their own exchange in Japan. It's funny because if China does pull out of this deal, and so does South Korea, South Korea, Japan's going to be there like, hey, we'll take your customers. Come on, come to Japan, come play with us. So this isn't going away. I mean, just look at how much stuff is going on. It's not going away, but correction is healthy. Correction is good. You're going to have to deal with it. Chill out.
So before we get to the end and your last little thing that we'll share out here in a second, what are your thoughts on the future? Because I keep, a lot of people, they're still asking me at work and asking me out because I do share everything about Bitcoin. What is it? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. And I try to tell them it's basically going to be the future of all of our payment systems. Kind of like, back in the day when we used to do only paper, and then we added, plastic for credit cards. And then we added another piece of paper, the check, which said that I was good for this amount or whatever, but I didn't have it with me at the time. I think this will be another avenue in which we can carry our money with us and not have to worry about having physical cash or coin. But it's going to take some time. I'd say 10 to 15 years before it becomes ubiquitous, much like the bell curve that you mentioned earlier, Shane. We're just now getting to the ramp up to the top of it to where, it's going to be at everybody's, where everybody's just now starting to hear about it. Everybody's starting to talk about it and start using it. But your guys' thoughts?
Is Cory froze right now? Or is that just me?
I think that's just you.
Could you click on that picture? Oh man.
Wait,
Cory was frozen, his laughing face there for a second on my screen.
Oh.
Cory, thoughts on the future of cryptocurrency in the near and dear future?
I actually saw this new project that's happening, and IBM's actually behind it. I can't for the life of me remember what it is right now, but I know they're supposed to be using stellar luminous. And what we've talked about before is how Bitcoin has become kind of unusable as a day-to-day currency, but it's a storage of value. So whenever you look at these, whenever you look at an exchange and Bitcoin is tanking, like it looks like everything else is tanking because everything is linked to Bitcoin as far as this goes. But this new project is wanting to change that, and you'll be able to buy any of these currencies from your phone in this app. And like I said, I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll throw in a comment at the end. But it looks really promising, so I'm gonna probably load up on some Stellar Luminance, and because what it does is you'll be able to purchase these coins directly, and you don't have to worry about the storage of value with Bitcoin because it goes through Stellar, which is like a super low fee. It's like fractions of a penny, and then it goes on. You get that coin. Like that's the transfer instead of there being a direct 100%. It's just that one little bit there, and like I said, once I find that, you'll have to check it out because it's great. I think I sent you a link to it at one time, but I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll go
So
today.
yeah, what it looks like is IBM Stellar. Tech giant uses cryptocurrency for Cybos 2017. Company's custom cryptocurrency Lumens.
Yeah, it's not that one. It's a phone app that's going to be coming out, but that's part of it. I mean, IBM is behind Stellar Lumens, so if IBM's behind it and they know what they're doing, it's gonna be some good stuff.
There was, yeah, one of the interesting things about it was that they were using pathfinding. I think I mentioned this earlier, where they don't have to have a direct jump between Bitcoin and Stellar. You can actually, did I go away? Okay.
Nope, you're still here.
So what they can do is using pathfinding, rather than just going from Bitcoin to Stellar, you can actually jump from Bitcoin to Ether to EOS or to whatever coin to make the easiest transaction for the least amount of money to Stellar. That way you keep the majority of your your transfer. So right now we're losing 10, 12 bucks per transfer on BTC. With converting to Stellar, it may not be that way. With Pathfinder.
Yeah, that's one big problem that we have now. And I was talking to you guys earlier about it, and Cory was like, "Yeah, you lose $10 in transaction fee just in trying to get the new Ledger Nano." Because I was going to order one myself, and I was like, "Oh, it's okay. It's 79 euros, so it kind of evens out, 0.0 whatever Bitcoin. I think it was like 0.008 or whatever, and then it turns into like 0.009 because I had to add on the extra transaction fee." And it was like, so it's instead of being the 79 euros, it ends up being like 100 or 104 euros, something like that. And I was like, dadgum, it went from 79 to 104, and I haven't even done anything. And then I tried to use my Coinbase wallet to purchase it. And every time I clicked the little barcode scanner to scan it, it didn't take. And I don't know what in the world was going on. So I just gave up and closed the window.
I found it is called Fairx, FAIRX. And it's, if you go to their website, it doesn't really have much about it right now. It just says we're working on something interesting, but it does have like a Twitter and a Facebook link, so you can probably check out more of that there. But it looks like a really promising exchange there.
So for Stellar.
So for guys like us that want to be on the forefront of all of this, ICOs is where you want to be. You want to get in on the front end, and you want to know all about their stuff and try to make money off of it in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So we're going to end this episode here. Sean, you have got, I guess, a straw poll. Is that correct?
Shane?
Whoa.
That's twice. That's twice tonight.
Oh, I'm horrible. Sorry.
So yeah, Cory posted a straw poll earlier that I think was pretty interesting. So with these videos, we're getting a couple of views here and there, but we want to see what people want. If we're not gonna chat with us on the videos or anything, at least you can click a straw poll maybe. Let us know if this is too long, if we're not going into enough detail, or let us know what you want. I think we'll post that here a little later.
There's a one on the video too. So it should pop up at the end of the video, I think, as well.
I went ahead and put it in the chat room. It's already there. So if you come into this later, it's in the chat room. I'll put it in the description of the video below as well.
So also hit us up on Discord, Facebook. We're all over there. Facebook and Discord are about the best ways to reach me. Also, Cory and I are on Steemit, Brogocop and Cory. I'm just getting started. Cory's been on there for a little bit. He's kind of teaching me up. So get on there, check it out. That is a blockchain. That's something we can use in the future. I mean, it's all about using blockchain and actually using blockchain to move it forward. So if you can, or if you want to, just hit us up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to be completely honest. I talk to these two in Hangouts. I jump on Discord like once a week, maybe if that. So you're not really going to find me there, but you can find us on the Cryptosis channel here on YouTube. You can find us pretty much everywhere. Just go to the description below and you'll see all of our links if you want to talk to us directly. I'm a big Twitter user. I'm a big Facebook user. I'm a big Instagram user, all the other things except for Discord, basically. I will get on Discord when I guess need to ask other questions, but that's about it for me. Cory?
Two extra things I want to throw in. I think I forgot about it. If you do an ICO, make sure you know how much the minimum is and how much you're going to put in there, because if there is a minimum like 0.1 ETH and you send like 0.09, then you're not going to get in that ICO and you're going to have to wait for them to do an audit and your money's going to be tied up. Like I got money tied up in 2 different ICOs right now that I can't get money out of because I'm waiting for the audit to finish. The other thing, if you want to get a little bit out of these ICOs and you don't want to invest in any money, then you want to look at some airdrops. And airdrops, they'll just put these ERC20 tokens on your Ether address like we were talking about earlier. And I've started posting some of those in our Discord. So you can go in there and I'll show you how to get some free tokens from these ICOs and get, maybe $5-10 for free out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how you got me started, was way back in the day on Coin Tip or whatever that was.
Yeah.
It was a little bit different, but that ended up turning into $25 and what got me started all over again, and eventually how we got here today. So any last words, gentlemen, before we get out of here?
Just the tip.
All right, guys, that's going to be it. We're not going to have a full hour show. We wanted to try to shoot for 30 minutes because we did have a couple comments to say that the show is a little long, which it is, and when you're not watching this live, it's a little bit harder to watch because you're not able to converse with us. And so I invite you to converse with us live right here on the side. Come in with us every week. We'll be right here on the side with the chat bar. You can jump in, ask questions live. We'll be able to answer those. It didn't look like we had any chat this week, so I think that'll be it for us. And we are going to get out of here. You all have a great week. We'll see you next Tuesday, somewhere between 9:30. Eastern Standard Time is going to be the typical, depending on our schedules. And our work shift bid just came up at my job, so I might be able to change to a different night. But we'll see how it goes because these two guys have regular jobs. Mine is overnight and weird. But either way, we'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.